Welcome back to the channel, guys, and welcome to a very special review. I am sitting in a 2024 Lamborghini Huracan Sterrato, the rally off-road friendly Lamborghini. This thing was super intriguing to me when it first came out. I didn't quite understand what it was really meant for. I mean, how many people are really going to off-road or rally in their Lamborghini Huracan? But that's why we're here today. We're going to drive it in this canyon road in San Diego and see what it's like. The owner, Dorian, mentioned that he picked this up at MSRP. The starting MSRP of this car was just under $300,000. Market value for a used one, based on my research, anywhere from the $290,000 to $350,000 range. This is powered by a 5.2-liter naturally aspirated V10, the last of its kind, possibly the last car ever with a V10. 610 horsepower, 417 pound-feet of torque. 7-speed dual-clutch transmission with column-mounted paddle shifters. All-wheel drive, just like the regular Huracan, but we have lifted suspension, a widened track, flared wheel arches for off-road capability, and specially tuned magneto-rheological dampers. This is double wishbone front and rear, and it weighs over 3,600 pounds wet. So it's a pretty heavy car, and from outside, it looks very odd. It looks like almost an aftermarket project of someone's who wanted to make a Lamborghini Huracan a rally car. So credit to Lamborghini for being bold enough to try something like this. First impressions of the interior, it's just laden in Alcantara. The steering wheel, the entire dash, which is absolutely massive. The windshield feels so far away. Exposed carbon doors, some carbon along the dash here with the Lamborghini logo. It's a very loud and flashy car inside and out. We have this fighter jet style start-stop button. Let's just cut to the chase. Let's hear this V10 come to life. The startup is actually fairly mild. With the car in Strada mode, which is the comfort setting, the exhaust valve is closed. The suspension is in its softest setting. You can have it in automatic mode for the transmission, but then you open it up into sport mode. All of a sudden you hear the growl of that uneven firing, naturally aspirated 5.2-liter V10. There's also a rally mode, which softens the suspension up compared to sport mode, which is stiffer than Strada, and it gives you a more rear-biased all-wheel drive setting. Perfect for going sideways on your local rally course, I guess. But let's start out in Strada, and we'll go manual mode for the transmission. So to actually put it into drive, there is no drive button. You just pull the upshift paddle, and away you go. Now the seating position with these manually adjustable seats, I actually think I'm sitting a little bit too high up, even though it's max low. Not bad. At least I do have very excellent visibility out the front and the sides. The sills are not that high, but no visibility out the rear, virtually none, because we have that giant cover for the engine. Thankfully, this does have a backup cam. Pretty tame in Strada mode. Let's put it into sport and see what this V10 is all about, shall we? Oh, okay. Wow. There's so much sound behind my head. Response of this engine, so immediate. The power delivery, so linear. It builds progressively all the way to the 8,500 RPM run line. So loud, goodness gracious. Incredible induction note from inside the car. All-terrain tires don't have a lot of traction, so you got to brake a bit early. Oh wow, the suspension super soft, even in sport mode. As we get into some of these very low speed corners where we're going to take it nice and easy. I don't trust the traction on these tires, and it's a pretty damp road today. You know what, let's actually put it back into Strada for the time being and see what it's like just around town. well, not exactly around town, but simulating just low speed city driving. Nice and quiet. The suspension super supple. Wow. Barely even feel these reflectors on the road. There's not a ton of road noise and tire noise. Not even a lot of engine noise. You do hear some whirs from that engine, but very little induction and exhaust note at low RPM, low throttle position. No squeaks and rattles from the interior. That's what you'd expect from such an expensive car. $300,000. It better be built well. This definitely feels like it is. I could definitely daily drive this car. The dual clutch is very quick, but also very smooth. You don't even really feel the downshifts at all. Very refined car. The brake pedal, though, is mounted kind of closer to you than you'd expect relative to the throttle. And so when I initially get on the brakes, the fact that it's closer to me and the fact that there's so much initial bite means you can sometimes over brake. Let's go back into sport.
Absolutely intoxicating engine sound. The V10 is a thing of beauty, and it's an absolute shame we're not going to see them around for much longer. Those downshifts and the crackles that pops from the exhaust. Even partial throttle, this thing is insane. The straight line performance is actually nothing too crazy. It's actually a very manageable amount of power. Naturally aspirated, no forced induction. It's not going to have that crazy surge in torque or even that initial instant acceleration that you get from an electric or hybrid supercar. However, it's just the right amount of power. It's a manageable amount of power for a modern supercar. There aren't many supercars you can buy brand new anymore where you can say that. Everything is like 700, 800, 1,000 plus horsepower. The new C8 ZR1, over 1,000 horsepower. Why do you need that much in a road car? On track, sure. I think I'm starting to understand this car now. It's something you can drive every single day. It's so comfortable. The lifted suspension with the extra travel and these tall sidewalls to these tires, it means you have a very livable everyday car. And at the same time, when you want to do this kind of back road bombing, you can and still have a good time, because I mean 610 horsepower is still a lot. I mean, even in sport mode, if you just back off the throttle and keep it at a low RPM, such a refined ride. This might be the best riding, most comfortable supercar I have ever driven. It's very different than cars like the McLaren 750S. Just using that as an example because that's the most recent new supercar that I've driven. That one is all about the razor sharp driving dynamics, the handling, the super talkative steering, and the lightweight rigid chassis. This is a different kind of beast. This one is not about necessarily at the limit driving dynamics unless you do get it in its element. A nice little rally course, I'm sure this thing would really come to life. But out here, it's not the most communicative thing in the world. It does have some, actually I think the steering is pretty good. It does have some level of feedback, but it's a little bit light. It doesn't give you a whole lot of information about the road surface, which is also to be expected because these tires have such tall sidewalls. But this is not necessarily a pure driver's supercar, if that makes sense. This is a much more compromised car, but maybe that's exactly what some customers are looking for. Not everyone wants to take their supercar to Sonoma Raceway and shave tenths. This is something you can enjoy every single day. So, with just a couple of minutes left, back into sport mode. Oh man, what a machine. One of the greatest engines that you can buy in any car from the last 10 years. Just the right balance of power and ferocity and sound and usability and response. It's just a thing of beauty. And pair that to one of the most comfortable and usable supercar chassis I've ever felt. Actually, it is the most comfortable, most compliant I've ever experienced by far. It's a special, special formula. And I understand it now. Sure, it's marketed as an off-road rally capable supercar, and if you want to do that, by all means. But if you just want to have a really exciting car you can drive every day, I don't know how you beat this. I really don't. This car just makes sense to me. Except, oh man, the limitation with the braking with these tires, that is something you got to watch out for. You cannot step on that brake pedal in the way that you can a normal supercar. Love this 7-speed dual clutch. It matches the personality of this engine perfectly. Responsive, snappy, and a little bit violent when you want it to be. When you're at high RPM and you're doing red line shifts, you feel every shift. It gives you that theater. It's visceral. But then, again, back it off into Strata. Smooth. Pretty quiet. I just love the dual personality of this car. And for $300,000 new, I can't think of another car you can buy right now with this much personality and this much comfort all in one package. And this much road presence, of course. It looks absolutely stunning from outside. This is what every Subaru WRX owner wished they had. What a machine. 20 minutes ago, I had no idea what this car was about, and now it is one of my favorite supercars. Wow, big shout out to Dorian for letting me experience the 2024 Huracan Sterrato. If I had one of these, I would absolutely drive it every single day. Let me know your thoughts about the Huracan Sterrato down in the comments. What are some other supercars that have personality but also a ton of daily usability? Let me know down in the comments. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.